Why do liberals love wokeness? Um, huh. All right. So what sparked this? I guess the title of this segment is full disclosure, I pulled it from a website, Quora. I'm on like an email list from Quora. And for those that aren't familiar, it's a website. It's not unlike like Reddit or really any website, um, where a bunch of people, it's really based on people answering other people's questions, I think. I think. Um, and it's not based around like videos, content, things like that. It's more about, hey, I got a question, or why is this like this? And kind of the general population, answers it, and the best answer rises to the top, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know the inner workings. But this isn't like a scholarly place. This isn't like where we normally get our content. This isn't a journalistic place, but it does kind of give me an additional aperture into the cultural zeitgeist and the political, you know, um, conversations, I guess, that are taking place. And, as they all evolve and I'm able to get different people's perspectives, it works. I have several of these, but this is one of them. And, the question of wokeness, I was like, oh man, let me check this out. Why do liberals love wokeness? And the response I thought was very compelling. And so I want to share that. And Q doesn't know this yet. So I'm going to share it. And I guess I'll get your thoughts here. But I think that this person, the person who actually responded, his name was Fief. So shout out to Fief. I want to credit as best I can. That's all I had. But I just think it's really a compelling way of examining wokeness. And I want to do this for people who have been susceptible to the right's attack on that term and what it actually stands for. So for those people like me who will stay woke because it's consistent with my nature, a definition and a defense, I think, is in order as often as I have a microphone and an audience. So without further ado, I will share. Q, just kind of stand by, I suppose. All right. Again, from Fief. If I were just to describe wokeness from my personal perspective and in the simplest way possible, I'd compare it to two people ordering one pizza between them. One likes pepperoni, the other likes ham and pineapple. The logical and fair thing to do is order half with pepperoni, half with ham and pineapple. Happy days. They're both getting what they want. The anti-woke despise this arrangement. They'll find ways to criticize or undermine it. What if I want more than just half a pizza? Why is the other person getting two toppings, but I'm only getting one? What if one rogue pineapple touches my side? It ceases to matter to Pepperoni Guy that he's getting what he wants and is not being deprived in any significant way. He'd still prefer to order a full pepperoni pizza and just force the other person to either eat it or go hungry. His justification would be that no one in their right mind should want pineapple on a pizza in the first place because it's an abomination. Except that's not how life works. Maybe the imaginary life concocted in one's religious, prejudiced, and insular bubble brain, but certainly not real life on planet Earth. Liberals don't love wokeness. They simply see it as a necessary and compassionate compromise in a multifaceted world. It is a well-intentioned, albeit imperfect process of allowing all people to have a piece of the pie. If it sometimes seems like the woke take things too far, and at times they do, maybe that's because they're tired of having to defend and to fight for their simple pineapple preference. Just a thought. So there's a little bit more because there was a person that kind of pushed back against that, but I want to get your kind of early thoughts on that. I just thought that was just a simple, eloquent way of framing how wokeness, I suppose, fits in the overall political equation in more realistic terms. So
I still think it misses the mark.
Okay.
I think what that person is describing is why liberal people are liberal. Wokeness is an entirely
is a little bit further on. Okay. Yeah.
And the right has co-opted wokeness into just meaning liberal. So now it's just like the DEI thing. People push back against what the right have determined it to mean, and then they give them that.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
yeah,
it means what you said it means. So let me argue against what you said. And that's no, it's wokeness is not that. That's what it means to be a liberal person.
yeah,
The idea that all of us deserve something.
yeah.
That this idea that there should be people that have nothing, that have to be broke and starving so you can have everything is a ridiculous place to start any compelling, empathetic, well-informed argument on anything.
Okay.
So I think that person used a really, really cool example
But
to
to describe,
describe
yeah,
the liberal
once you
mindset.
said it to me, I'm like,
I think
okay, that makes
wokeness
sense.
is something completely different. So I think
Yeah,
that just have to be a totally different conversation. And I imagine that this person that is pushing back is also pushing back on what the right has determined woke to mean
sure.
instead of actual wokeness.
What
But
it what it
I'll
means.
wait for that.
Okay. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Once you said it, like I said, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense because wokeness, the way that it always meant in my life was people that had done additional studies to understand that there are levels and layers to, people ending up where they are. And it will take a multi-layered approach to unwinding some of the historical injustices. And, there's some invisible forces, behind the scenes. And, sometimes they peek their head up. And if you make if you document the amount of times, you can notice trends and just kind of be more aware, I suppose. And so that would probably be a better way of defining wokeness. But you're absolutely right. Now, let's take a look at, and this is just one person to push back, and I recognize there's a bunch of people that are going to push back because they want to, not because they have a valid justification for it, but just they just want to push back. That's the only thing. Any human being with a modicum of empathy and compassion will understand the nature of quote unquote liberal minded politics and indeed wokeness, right? Because the basis of wokeness is to try to make the world better, but using more education and a more strategic approach. But in any event, this person's name is Joe Treviso. Not that it matters. I just want to make sure I'm crediting this person. He says, all you said while insulting all you hate is one of many reasons we do not care for anything that you seem to want to push or sell. Insults by feeling superior to others based on your ideologies will get you zilch. No one needs a newfangled word invention to provide for others. So he's talking about like pronouns and how we are continually defining our separate realities from other people's realities. Not everything is a shared reality. So I think that's what he's getting at here. He goes on to say, there have been generous, good people on both sides, who there's full of typos, but that's what it says, who have given and fed the poor without any normality, haters, new words, I guess. Or normality, haters, new words, is what he's trying to say. I don't know. I have given and continue to give to needy as much as I can in the name of Christ, not woke. Okay. So take the last bit of it, Q. Any additional thoughts to share there?
Yeah, just that woke did not and does not mean what they say.
Yeah.
And like I assumed, his pushback is against the right's new version of woke. So like the earliest uses of woke simply meant it was metaphorically being awake, like being informed or aware of things like racism and injustice, like just being aware that there are things working behind the scenes. And when we said stay woke, it was like a third eye thing, right? That be aware, be awake, not sleep, metaphorically. Similar to in the civil rights era, stay woke is a call to vigilance. It came back into regular conversation with the resurgence of us having to reaffirm that we matter with Black Lives Matter. Once again, stay woke against this system, be awake, be aware, be educated. Then the right co-opted it to mean really anything that they dislike that's progressive. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is woke. Pronouns woke. Racial injustice woke. Climate woke. Anything they don't like, they just determined is woke, and now have us arguing against their co-opted meaning of it. So it's just
we'll get back to that later, because we have a segment that will kind of bring us right back to this point.